Recording in progress.
As a religion of peace, Islam fundamentally emphasizes companionship, tenderness, and tolerance. The most majority of Muslims know that Islam means a blessing for the universe, or Rahmatan Lil Alamin. The implementation of peaceful Islam is nurtured as wider as possible for many Muslims across the globe. The concept of Rahmatan Lil Alamin, or the blessing for the universe, is prior to be fostered in various Muslim majority countries. The ulama and umaro continuously promote Islamic ideas and practices which contain the value of tolerance, peace, coexist with the principle of human rights hand in hand with local culture for every dawah, and compatible with democracy. Consistent in disseminating and practicing tender and charming Islam plays a key role in maintaining Islam as a religion of peace. To provide a dynamic and fruitful discussion, INFIT, as the initiator, collaborate with Nahdlatul Ulama and Muhammadiyah, inviting various Islamic organizations in Pakistan, Malaysia, and Tunisia to join together. The discussion aims to share experiences and efforts that have made by the four countries in strengthening the understanding and practice of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. By having this international seminar, it is expected that the idea of tolerant and peaceful Islam in Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan, and Tunisia would become notable and influential image for global society. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the international seminar, Building International Cooperation to Reinforce Commitments and Practices of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, good morning, selamat petang, sobahul khair, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished speakers, all participants, welcome to the international seminar. Thank you for attending the online international seminar, Building International Cooperation to Reinforce Commitments and Practices of Islam, Rahmatan Lil Alamin. It is worth noting that this seminar is a safe space for everyone. So negative and discriminative comments are prohibited, but we encourage you to actively participate in a Q&A section since the seminar is using webinar mode. So every participant will be muted, but for those who will ask the questions, you can use the Q&A section to type the question. You can find this seminar generally will deliver in English, but we provide the interpreter in Bahasa, in Arabic, and also sign language. You can access interpretation by clicking globe, the globe logo at the right bottom of your screen. Make sure you have an updated Zoom version. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm Hijratul Maghfirah. I will be a moderator of this session. The topic of this session is about strategies for building a network of Islamic organization to reinforce commitments and practices as Rahmatan Lil Alamin globally. This section will discuss regarding the perspective of various countries on networking strategies and also several approaches to optimize the role of social media. And we also will discuss about how to institutionalize the network of Islamic organization from various countries, especially from four countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan, and Tunisia. We will discuss the topic with 5 distinguished speakers. I will call the speakers. I hope all the speakers already joined with us here in this platform. I will call the first speakers, Dr. Usman Ahmad, Assalamualaikum, Dr. Usman Ahmad. I hope you are already here. So Dr. Usman Ahmad from the Institute of Islamic Studies, University of Punjab, Lahore, Pakistan. He is an assistant professor, Institute of Islamic Studies, University of Punjab, Lahore, Pakistan. He obtained the PhD from International Islamic University, Malaysia, and postdoc from Social Sciences University of Ankara, Turkey. He is very productive academia. He has published at least 11 books under his name. And the second speakers, Professor Ahmad Najib Burhani. I assume he's already here with us.
I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Professor Ahmad Najib Burhani. He is from Muhammadiyah, Indonesia. He served as deputy leader of Muhammadiyah Literary and Information Council. He involved in numerous research agendas and specific position. Professor Burhani also, I think, Professor Burhani was a visiting senior fellow of ICS Yusuf Ishaq Institute in Singapore. And right now, I think in the National Research and Innovation Agency, Professor Burhani is a director of Social Humanities Research Organization. And he is also won Muhammadiyah Award in 2021 for his outstanding scientific contribution. Congratulations, Prof. And then the third speakers, Professor Muhammad Ruslan Muhammad Nur. I hope he's already here. He is from University of Malaya. Professor Muhammad Ruslan is professor at the Department of Islamic History and Civilization, Academy of Islamic Studies, University of Malaya, Malaysia. Currently, he is the head of department for a second time, started from April to 2020. And he was also the deputy director, research and development at the Academy of Islamic Studies. He is also broad academic of Islamic Jerusalem Studies, the Middle East, Islam and multiculturalism, Muslim affairs, religious studies, and so on. And the fourth speakers, Professor Dr. Abdul Latif Bauzizi, sorry for the misspelling. I hope Professor already here with us. He is a rector of Azaytuna University, Tunisia. He is currently is a rector of Azaytuna University, Tunisia. He is a science. He has been teaching for the past 20 years and 70 years at Saudi Arabia universities. As a lecturer, he often attends various seminars around the world, even though he is an active rector until now, but he is also a very productive writer. Some phenomenal books regarding his concern in Islamic issues such as Islamic civilization already written and published. And the last speakers, Dr. Ahmad Suaidi. I assume he is also already with us. Dr. Waalaikumsalam. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon. Okay, Dr. Ahmad Suaidi. He is now the Dean of Faculty of Islam Nusantara, University of Nahdlatul Ulama Indonesia. He's also the senior researcher at the Abdurrahman Wahid Center, University of Indonesia. And Dr. Suaidi have a keen interest on culture, religious, and Southeast Asia studies. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to invite the first speakers to convey the presentation. But before he delivered the presentation, I would remind you, all the speakers, that all of you have 7 to 10 minutes for presenting the presentation, and maybe 1 minute before the time offer, I will remind you. So I will invite the first speaker, Dr. Usman Ahmad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, please, screen is yours, Dr. Usman Ahmad.
Thank you. I'm thankful to all the organizers and the person who is chairing this session. The topic that I have to discuss here is a strategy for building a network of Islamic organizations to reinforce commitments and practices of Islam as a Rahmatan Lil Alamin globally. No doubt there are thousands of organizations with different manifestos, different perspectives and methodologies working for the renaissance of Islamic sciences and Islamic revolution and Islamic society. And the range of organizations demand that there should be a integration between them on the basis of the personality that is in the hearts of all, that is Rahmatul Alameen sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I am going to discuss some dimensions of the integrations and their reinforcement by by a network of Islamic organizations. First dimension, that is conceptual dimension, and it has some, I think, some points I would like to share with you. First is that the conceptual dimension, first point is believe that, and the attitude of all organizations, that the basic idea that has been built on Islam and its teaching is mercy. The name of Allah is mentioned, Rahman and Rahim, and the messenger of Allah is Rahmatul Lil Alamin, and the Quran is last book, that is the Rahma. Quran said it is Rahma. The Quran says the day of resurrection will be also the day of mercy. So the basic idea should be built of networking should be on the mercy. And the second is the right of disagreement. The Islamic principle of ijtihad gives the right of the opinions may differ in the understanding of a text. So no opinion can be imposed to anyone. Intellect does not support imitative stagnation. The existence of multiple opinions among the companions of the Rasulullah indicates that the legitimacy of and the breadth of scope of human understanding. So the second conceptual basis of integration and reinforcement of organization in a network is the right of disagreement. And the third is being suspicious is a sign of moral decay. So no one organization should be allowed when in a network to suspect about other, and the Quran forbids suspicion about others, raising conspiracy theories and something that is bad among them, it should be prohibited. So the third thing that should be the basis of an integration to disallow, to forbid the suspicious uh, ideas and discussions. The practical dimension that can be suggested is the mercy to all network of Islamic organization that I have in abbreviation MANU. Rahmatul Alameen chair will indicate, will initiate to build this network as a mention with the name of MANU, a direct and indirect struggle with it will be made with the help of Pakistani religious moderate organization. So there should be a network that is based on Rahma for each other. And the manifesto of each organization should be mercy for another. And second practical dimension is suggested to charter of to create, to evolve, to is devise a charter of dissent and differences, because this is natural that there will be differences. Of course, already differences are there. Some organizations are working for some different aims and different objectives. So a charter among the organizations should be signed after regular consultation in which it should be agreed mercy is the key to building human society, and the purpose and method of every organization is correct as long as it does not spread violence and hatred. We should accept that purpose of every Islamic organization is correct as long as it does not spread violence and hatred and do not tear human society apart. Third, the scope of this agreement is wide and everyone has a right, but no one has a right to insult each other. The difference will not be based on the destruction of religion and denial of the prophet, but there should be a great, vast range of disagreement. And that will be mentioned in the manifesto, in the declaration that will be devised before and building a network. The fourth thing, Muslims are one body, so there will be differences in their capacities and working. Like the brain does not work as the heart, so some organization, if working in a minor point of view in a vast range, all will be accepted. The third practical suggestion is determining the code of conduct for interlinkage. The organization's interlinkage will be based on, first thing, blaming each other will be definitely not happen. Loyalty of any one organization towards religion will not be questioned. Third, formally one, all organization will be liable to appreciate each other work in media and public level. So no disarming, no harming or insulting comments will be passed by any organization about each other. It will be forbidden to declare or call another astray. This no organization will declare any fatwa against our organization. Establish the fourth practical suggestion is establishment of buffer zone. If there is something bad or pressure of geographical and political conditions that can be issue for a network of organizations, so there will be a buffer zone of relations that will stay remain. It will be necessary for all to gather in the name of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a Rahmatan Lil Alamin, without discussing the political differences, geographical distances, differences, cultural differences. Meeting once a year at any place will be ethically compulsory, and the purpose of the meeting is just to understand each other. So these are my humble suggestions, they are conceptual suggestions and practical suggestions. Thank you to all.
Wow, thank you very much, Dr. Usman Ahmad, for the great presentation. It is very important, your presentation. I highlight some key message about how to build the networking among the Muslim organization. Like the first thing, the important thing is building the trust. And I also interested in the Manio, Mercy to All network of Islamic organization. So maybe we can discuss later about this, and maybe you can also share the experiences of how to manage the network among Muslim organization at the Pakistan. Sorry. Thank you very much, Dr. Usman Ahmad. So I hope you still with us until the last session, because there will be a question and answer, and I assume there will be also the question that need your response. So I will invite the second speakers, Professor Ahmad Najib Burhani. So, Mr. Najib Burhani,
I'm here.
The time is yours.
Thank you, Mbak Hujratul Malkiro. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I think I would like to thank Mbak Hujratul Malkiro and also INFIT for organizing this wonderful seminar, and I'm happy to be here, to be part of it. I'm sorry I don't have PowerPoint, so this is just between you and me, and there is no PowerPoint screening. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, I would like to present only a general note on the topic that we are discussing right now, building international cooperation to reinforce commitment and practices of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. First, I think the appeal of collaboration between Muslim organizations in the world has a strong foundation in Islam. It is a doctrinal byproduct, namely Tawheed, oneness of God. This is why, for instance, that the appeal, for instance, of the concept of caliphate, for instance, always has a market in Islam. The Hizb ut-Tahrir al-Islami, for instance, again, argue that the establishment of or restoration of caliphate is an obligation upon all Muslims in the world to make them one community. However, we know this fact that in reality, the integration and collaboration of the kind promoted by Hizb ut-Tahrir always has minimal, has been minimal. I mean, having a few support or perhaps only sporadical and something like that. I think if we are discussing the previous collaboration and cooperation between Muslim organizations or Muslim countries, we can see the real one, the existing one right now, perhaps the OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the interstate organization of Muslim world of the Muslim world, founded, I think, in 1969 after war between Israel and Arab countries. It is committed to the advancement of the solidarity among its members. So the history of this of the establishment of this organization, I believe, has influenced its goal. For now, however, it is clear that IOC has not advanced. In academic discourse, IOC can be categorized as a kind of horizontal collaboration or horizontal cooperation among Muslim communities, which is different from vertical networking or collaboration of the kind of Roman Church or Shiite Imamate. It can be said that in Islam, or specifically Sunni Islam, we are lacking this kind of vertical networking. Although the scope of the IOC is only horizontal and has not strongly advanced, we can see that IOC has certain significances. We can mention here at least three things. First, promoting da'wah, or the call to Islam. And then the second one is making us concerned over the plight of Muslim minorities, for instance, in Europe or in East Asia, in Australia, or in other countries. And then the third one, perhaps the significance of this kind of organization is making us also concerned with the number of Muslim issues. There are several issues that always raised by IOC during the meeting or in its publication. Now I think we need to move moving forward and on how we create Hope Global Networking as the topic of our session this afternoon. I think the first one that we can do for building international cooperation is first by what we call as a decentering Islam. away from the preoccupation with the Arabian Peninsula. As perhaps we understand that the meaning of Islam, if we see in the context of Middle East, is not always positive. A conflict and also perhaps war and something like that always appear over there. So we need to decentering Islam from the Middle East. This means Islam in Southeast Asia must play more prominent role in global context. And then this will allow non-Muslims and Westerners to know about the diversity of Islam, a colorful picture of Islam, not only a single model of Islam, i.e. Islam of the Middle East. And then the second one, as for the strategy, I believe the horizontal collaboration is the only model currently available for us. The vertical one in the form of a caliphate or imamate and something like that is not the option. Not only not practical, but also if this one is like illusion. And then the third one, I think, the reduction of distance provided by digital platform like Facebook, Twitter, and then YouTube and something like that has blurred the dichotomy between center and periphery. This provides collaboration of the voices of tolerant Islam in the world more possible. Unfortunately, however, this reduction of distance has been utilized mostly by the radical Muslim. So this one is our responsibility to what you call it, to regain the opportunity by using this kind of reduction of distance. And then the fourth one, I think the issue of like recognizing immigrant community in the world is one of the tool, one of the strategy to gain collaboration and cooperation among Muslims. So we need to appoint them not only as a source of income for the country, for Muslim countries, but as ambassadors of peaceful Islam, as become embassies, become ambassadors of Muslim in Europe and America and some other places. It means that we need to re-educate and also collaborate with the immigrant and also foreign workers to promote a peaceful and harmonious Islam. And then the last one, and I think this one is the most important one, is the topic of this panel, collaboration of Muslim organization in the world. We know that the basis of OIC is a country, not Muslim individuals or organization. I believe this is something that we cannot delay, establishing collaboration among Muslim organizations. If this is not really feasible right now, then collaboration in scientific activities must be created. In my understanding, the meaning of Rahmatan Lil Alamin is not limited to the issue of peace and tolerance, but also providing enlightenment to the world. And this one can only be done through invention and innovation. And here, for instance, the role of National Research and Innovation Agency become important. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Professor Najib Burhani, for your thought. It's very, very important to discuss about what already you rise up. You mentioned about IOC, and maybe we can discuss later how important IOC and how important to maybe after this discussion we can offer another alternative or Islamic organization, because Mr. Najib also mentioning about how important to decentering Islam, not only from the Middle East, but how to shifting the Islam from the Middle East to the Islam in Southeast Asia. like from Malaysia and also Indonesia and other countries. And the third speakers, it is also from the Muslim scholar from Southeast Asia, which is Malaysia. I will welcome Professor Muhammad Ruslan Muhammad Nur. Are you already here, Professor?
Yes,
Okay, thank you very much. So you will have 7 to 10 minutes to convey your ideas, your presentation related our topic now. So
yes.
the time
Can
is
you allow
yours.
me to share my file?
Sure.
Yeah, please. Okay, while they are enable me to share my slides, I would like to first to say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon to everybody. I would like to thank the organizer for having me this afternoon for this very important conference on the building international cooperation to reinforce commitments and practices of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. I would like to thank also my colleagues, Professor Dr. Osman Ahmad from Lahore, and my colleague that has spoken before me, Professor Najib Burhani from Indonesia, from Muhammadiyah. I know that Prof. Najib, he said that he has no PowerPoint, but from when listening to him, his points are really powerful. So even though no PowerPoint, but point are power. His points are power. So thank you for highlighting so many important points just now. And also the colleagues that will speak after myself, which is we have Professor Dr. Abdul Latif Bouazi from Tunisia and also Dr. Ahmad Suaidi from Jakarta as well. So I this afternoon, well, basically when looking at this topic, it really sparked my attention, and this is a very important subject also to talk to, because this is something that we need to realize at our modern time, that we have many Muslims, but then the voices of Muslims are scattered. So this is something that we have to look into, and we have perhaps to work together on how to build this cooperation and to make sure that we have the united voices when we raise some issues related to the Muslim community and also related to the world. So one aspect of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that he has been sent down as a mercy to all humankind. We know that. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. So this verse is very powerful to say that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not just only for the Muslims. It's not only just for the those who have faith in Islam, but the Quran mentioned that the word lil alamin for the universe, for the whole mankind, or for the whole universe, lil alamin. So this is something which we base our discussion today to look into the concept of Rahmatan Lil Alamin. It's not just a political concept for some of the country, like in Malaysia last time. They put this concept and relate it to a political administration. But I think the concept of Rahmatan Lil Alamin must go beyond that. So the question is that why it means by what it means actually by mercy to all humankind, and why is it so important in our context to discuss about Rahmatan Lil Alamin, and also does it has a global impact. So from the two speakers that spoke before me, we can see that there are an important elements to discuss about this matter. That the concept of Rahmatan Lil Alamin, meaning that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has been sent down to the universe, he himself unites between those people who have problems in his time, the groups who have problems. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the example that we read and from the example that we studied, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has succeeded to unite people from the various background and from the various religious group, and as well as from the internal people who has conflicted in their views within the Muslim community itself. Look at the example of when Prophet Muhammad SAW in Medina, for instance. We know that he unite between Muhajirin and Ansar. Muhajirin and Ansar, those people who come from Medina, those people who come from Makkah with the inhabitant of Medina. And also he unite between Aus and Khazraj, the original people who live in Medina, who has conflict before the time of Prophet Muhammad SAW migrated from Makkah to Medina. As well as he unite the people from a different religious background with the concept of ummah. This is the ummatic concept that come during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We know that in his Sahifah Madinah, he called the people who live within the compound of Medina to come together and to defend Medina from the enemies. Okay, so this is some of the example from the early Islamic era that we see that how Prophet Muhammad SAW succeeded in uniting people. So this is kind of rahmah to everyone. When it comes to the context of our region, especially I'm talking about the context of Malaysia, we know that there are some Islamic organization in Malaysia which related to government Islamic agencies, and also the what we call it the non-governmental organizations, or these CSO, civil society organizations that we call it. So the government agencies in Malaysia, the Islamic organization, we have quite a number of that. Started from the federal level to the states level. And then perhaps you may well aware that in Malaysia, the matter that related to Islam is governed by the federal government. So we a kind of having the government who look after the religious activities in Malaysia. If we compare to our neighbor, for instance, in Indonesia, we do not see that the government really control on the activities of the religious community in our neighbor country. Unlike in Malaysia, we have that kind of things, which for the Malaysian point of view, we have no problem in that, and we see that some of us see that it gives us some advantage in dealing with the religious activities in Malaysia, because we have the authority, the government has the authority to look into what is good and what is not for the Muslim community. So when we would like to build the international cooperation, I think this is something that we need to understand from each countries, what kind of organization that they have and what kind of impact that they have in their countries. And then my next slide is on the strategies and areas of working together. I think I do agree with our speakers who spoke before about the strategies that we need to relook into it. And for me, I would like to see that if we can define our goals before we go into building the international cooperation between institutions and agencies that we have. We have to look also into the Islamic organization under government in each countries, and also we need to look into the non-governmental organization on Islam or Islamic-based NGOs. And also we probably can look into the projects of some of the organization that we can work together, for instance, on humanitarian aid. Humanitarian aid, wherever we go, we do not touch into the sensitivity of some of the countries. Humanitarian aid is something universal work that we can probably go across borders. Instead of having some issues with the country in regards to other activities, if we focus on humanitarian aid, doesn't give any problem or any impact to the or any effect to the countries that we are working with. And then also on the da'wah and Islamic propagation, and as well as the regional Islamic movement that we probably can look into. I think I have a very limited time, probably another 1 or 2 minutes, that I would like to speed up a little bit on the challenges.
You still have time.
When we work with regional or international bodies, something that we have to look into is that how we can eradicate the global issues that we have at the moment, which is the extremism, the religious extremism or religious terrorism. So this is something that we probably need to look into when we form relations between organization in regionally or internationally, as well as building moderate network. This is something which I think quite important at the moment, because we wanted to show that Islam that have mercy to all humankind must be something based on the moderate teaching of Islam. Moderate teaching of Islam, or what we can call it as wasatiyah. The concept of wasatiyah. So we need to understand the concept of wasatiyah. It's not only to understand, but to put it in action. Put it in action so that we can really practice the concept of moderation. Okay, and then the next one is strengthening a multinational network, as well as to have this kind of networking. We need to be more resilient in our work. When we talk about the projects and funding, this is another challenges that we have, which is when we talk about doing projects, always the issue of funding will come to us. So this is also something that we need to think, and we need to try to resolve the issues of funding when we talk about this building international cooperation. Okay, so my last slide is on the way forward, the action agenda, what we can do. I believe that we can propose a regional networking through various levels and various discussions. Though we already have some what we can call it as international collaboration between agencies, between NGOs, between institutions, between organizations from each country. And what Professor Najib as well mentioned about OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which is the main body in Islamic countries that form the unity among the Islamic countries. They also have a problem how to unite the Muslim countries, because we know that there are some factions within the OIC countries. Some of them, for instance, when it comes to the issue in the Middle East, some of them stand with the Saudis, the UAE, Egypt, and the other party, maybe they stand with Turkey, Qatar, Iran. So this is something that we have to be aware on this issue as well. And then the second one is we have to identify Islamic NGOs that we can work together. The main aim that we have to put in is that we need to have always in our mind how to unite people. It's not to make things worse. And then this is based on the Quranic verse as well. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. So we need to make sure that we hold the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then we do not fight each other. So unity is the main concept when we come to the building international cooperation, this one. And then we need also to think about when we work with different organizations with different countries, we need to think about the rule of the states that we are working with. So we need to respect, we need to have respect with other countries' rules and regulation, as well as they also need to respect us as well in working together in this one. So in short, I can say that when we would like to move forward on the international cooperation, we need to avoid sensitive issues among the countries that we work with, as well as we also need to focus on the issues faced by the Muslims, especially in the minority Muslim countries that I think most of the Muslim in Muslim majority countries will support us. For instance, the issue of Rohingyas in Myanmar, as well as the issue of Palestine in the Middle East, and also the issue of people in Kashmir, for instance, and the people in Xinjiang that need our attention, and probably we can form a force together in looking at these issues, and it will result the byproduct of that we can have the cooperation between us from different countries and different regions. So thank you very much. That's all that I would like to share this afternoon. Thank you. Sorry for any shortcoming, and so I pass it again to the Mrs. Moderator. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. And I think the last point is very important, how our collaboration, our Muslim collaboration in the world can support the Muslim minority. It is, I think, a very important thing before we build the collaboration. And due to constant time, I think I would like to invite the next speakers. He is from Tunisia. I will invite Professor Dr. Abdul Latif Bouazizi. I hope it is correct, the pronunciation, and sorry for the misspelling. Professor Abdul Latif Bouazizi, are you here? Assalamualaikum, Professor.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. سعادة كاي الحاج يحيى خليل تاغوف المدير العام لجمعية نهضة العلماء، سعادة البروفيسور حيدر ناصر الرئيس العام للجمعية المحمدية، سعادة سونغ بافيو المدير التنفيذي لمنتدى المنظمات غير الحكومية الدولي حول التنمية الأندونيسية، وسائر الضيوف وسائر الحضور، كل بمقامه وكل بموقعه، على أن لا أخطئ في الأسماء ولا أن أتجاوز من هم أهل للترحيب، فأقول للجميع السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أول ما أبدأ به هو شكري للقائمين على هذا المنتدى الذي يجسد حقيقة واقع الإسلام، فاجتمعت أندونيسيا وتونيزيا للتقارب في اللفظ، والتقى المشرق والمغرب، التقت الأقطار المتباعدة ولا يجمعها إلا الدين الإسلامي. فهذا من مظاهر رحمة هذا الدين، وهذا الملتقى يجسد هذه الحقيقة. أيها الحضور الكريم، إن التعاون والتقارب بين الشعوب الإسلامية هو بلا شك قاطرة التكامل بين دولنا وحكوماتنا التي تفرقها الحدود، لكن تجمعها القلوب وتقرب بينها أنشطتنا، سواء منها الأنشطة الفردية أو الأنشطة الجماعية. فبمثل هذا التعاون الهادف تبنى حاجة الجميع، بمعنى أن الذي يلبي احتياجات الآخرين سيجد حتما وفي إطار التكامل أن احتياجاته قد قضيت ولبيت من طرف أو من الطرف الآخر. إن المجتمع الإسلامي الذي بني على قوله تعالى إنما المؤمنون إخوة، ثم على التعاون الوارد في قول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا نفس الله عنه كربة من كرب الآخرة، ومن يسر على معسر يسر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة، ومن ستر مسلما في الدنيا ستره الله في الآخرة، والله في عون العبد ما كان العبد في عون أخيه، ومن سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة، وما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة وحفتهم الملائكة وذكرهم الله في من عنده، ومن بطأ به عمله لم يسرع به نسبه. لا أريد أن أطيل في بيان هذه المسائل وفي مضمون هذا الحديث الذي يحتوي على ما يعرف بالوصايا النبوية السبعة، فإن تلك الوصايا التي تبنى بها المجتمعات المتماسكة القوية المتقدمة. وإنني أريد أن ألفت الأنظار في هذا الحديث إلى أن الله سبحانه وتعالى يجازي على التعاون بين الأفراد ويجازي على التعاون بين الشعوب. إن تكاتف الجهود والتعاون الصادق بين أصحاب الإرادات الخيرة يساعدنا حتما على امتلاك الوقت، بل وعلى حسن التصرف فيه وتوفيره، إلى جانب رفع منسوب الثقة بين مكونات الأمة الإسلامية الواحدة التي يجب أن تعمل بالتوازي مع الحكومات من أجل الإصلاح والتغيير ورفع التحديات المطروحة وكسب أسباب التقدم. وأعتقد أن كل نجاح إذا لم يتخذ من الرؤى الجديدة للعمل لا يكتب له الديمومة، ومن أساس كل رؤية عمل ناجحة أن تبنى أولا على أرضية أخلاقية، لأنه مثلما قال الشاعر إنما الأمم الأخلاق ما بقيت فإنهم ذهبت أخلاقهم ذهبوا. ثانيا وضع إطار محدد للعمل. ثالثا تبادل القدرات التقنية وتقاسم الخبرات. رابعا التخطيط والبرمجة والاستشراف. خامسا الانفتاح على التجارب العالمية والأخذ منها بما يتلائم مع احتياجاتنا. سادسا بناء ما سبق على الموارد المالية والبشرية المتاحة، وهذا مكمن العبقرية وعظمة الإنجاز. ولما كانت قيمة التراحم هي عماد خيمتنا، ولما كان الهدف الأسمى من نشرها هو تحقيق التنمية الشاملة الدائمة، فإنه علينا أن ننظر في السبل الكفيلة بتعميق الوعي بتلك القيمة وبذلك الهدف الأعلى. وإذا أذكركم بأن الأهمية لا تكمن في حجم النشاط، وإنما في جودته، بل وبالخصوص في مدى تأثيره على أوسع نطاق، فإني أشير إلى أن الاستراتيجية الاتصالية المساعدة على نشر رسالة هذا المنتدى تقتضي تحديد الشرائح المستهدفة وضبط الوسائل المساعدة واختيار الوقت المناسب أو الوقت الأنسب، أي الانطلاق من طرح الأسئلة الخماسية المعروفة: ماذا ولمن ولماذا ومتى وكيف. وبصرف النظر عن تعريف أنواع الاتصال المنظماتي من اتصال نازل أو صاعد أو أفقي أو اتصال اجتماعي، فإن ما يشغلنا هنا هو التركيز على أكثر وسائل الاتصال انتشارا وتأثيرا على الصعيد الجماهيري قطريا وقاريا وعالميا، وهي الإنترنت بمختلف مواقعها ومنصاتها، وعلى عنصري نقص المعلومات وكثرة المعلومات، فالنقص تقصير والكثرة كتم لأنفاس أفضل المعلومات. ونحن لا نحتاج إلى المنظمات التي تتقاطع في أنشطتها، وإنما نريد تلك التي تتكامل دون كثرة تشتت الجهود، أي أن تنصرف كل منظمة إلى قطاع من قطاعات الحياة دون خلفية إيديولوجية ودون تبعية للقوى الأجنبية، وهذا غير ممكن إلا بالتنسيق والتواصل المستمرين. وبعد توحيد الجهود يكون الانخراط في الشبكة العالمية للمنظمات غير الحكومية أولا بهدف الاستفادة من التجارب الأعرق في المجال والأكثر تطورا، وثانيا للتعريف بمنظماتنا الإسلامية وبأهدافها وطرق تيسيرها وبمنجزها، وهذا جميعا ما ينبغي أن نعمل معا على تجسيده على أرض الواقع وليس على الصعيد النظري فقط، ومن خلال الحضور في المحافل السورية التي تبقى مجرد خطب رنانة وحبرا على ورق. فعلينا أن نعد عبر برامج مشتركة يضبطها خبراؤنا وتساهم في إعداد الأجيال الصاعدة على وجه الخصوص للقيام بأدوار إيجابية داخل مجتمعاتنا. وفي هذا السياق يمثل الإعلام المجتمعي بوجهيه التقليدي والإلكتروني أداة من أبرز الأدوات للتوعية وحشد الفئات الواسعة والتأثير على الرأي العام وعلى مجريات الأحداث. وهذا ما نعانيه اليوم في غاية البساطة في مجتمعاتنا التي تعيش تحت سقف العولمة، حيث يتم إطلاق حملة بشأن قضية معينة أحيانا من طرف مجموعة صغيرة من سكان في حي مثلا، أو من أتباع مهنة ما، أو من خلال تحرك ضحايا وضعية بيئية أو ظرف صحي أو اجتماعي، فيكثر مناصروهم وتتعدد أوجه التضامن معهم وتتعالى دعوات الحشد عن طريق التدوينات، مما يدفع السلطات المعنية إلى التجاوب مع تلك الضغوطات. وهذا النوع من الجهود المدنية الأهلية ما سنعمل اليد في اليد على الاستثمار فيه وكسب رهاناته في عصر صار فيه بعض المدونين هم الشخصيات الأكثر تأثيرا في واقعهم. ويبقى هدفنا أكبر من التحديات التي نواجهها، كما تبقى حماستنا وصدقنا في الانخراط في مثل هذه المشاريع المنظماتية التي لا يمكن وصفها إلا بأنها مشاريع للنهوض الحضاري، تبدأ عسيرة وربما صغيرة، لكنها تكبر بالصمود والثبات والمداومة على الإصلاح والتغيير من منطلق الإيمان بقول الله سبحانه وتعالى: إن أريد إلا الإصلاح ما استطعت، ومن منطلق الرغبة في أن يشمله قول الله سبحانه وتعالى: رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر وما بدلوا تبديلا. أيها الحضور الكريم، إن قدرتنا اليوم أن نعي أتم الوعي برسالتنا الحضارية الراهنة في ظل التحديات العالمية الجديدة، وأن نعمل على تحرير عالمنا الإسلامي من حالة الفرقة والتشتت والعجز، سواء عن طريق استكشاف الحلول المثلى للقضايا المتعلقة بالحكم الرشيد وفض النزاعات بين الدول الإسلامية وبظاهرة كراهية الإسلام وانتشار صوره المغلوطة في العالم، أو عن طريق رسم السبل الكفيلة التي تحقق مبادئ الوحدة والعمل المشترك. وإذا أشدد في هذا المحفل الدولي المتميز على أهمية التضامن الإسلامي والعمل الإسلامي المشترك، فإنني أشير إلى أن تجسيده يقتضي تضافر جهود المؤسسات غير الحكومية والمؤسسات الحكومية على حد سواء، وكذلك تضافر جهودنا نحن الأعضاء، وذلك على أساس الإيمان العميق بوحدة مصيرنا المبني على القيم المشتركة الواردة في القرآن والسنة. ويقتضي إيماننا بوحدة المصير التجند أولا لمناصرة القضية الفلسطينية ودعم الفلسطينيين العزل وإيجاد حل وتسوية شاملين لهذه القضية بعيدا عن الخطوات الانفرادية، وكذلك إلى جانب التعاون في ميدان أو في مجال مكافحة الإرهاب في كنف مقاربة شاملة متكاملة ورأي موحد في تعريفه والفصل بينه وبين الدين الإسلامي مثل ما يروج له أعداؤه. كما أن رفع مستوى التفاهم بين مختلف منظماتنا غير الحكومية بشأن المشاكل التي تتعرض لها الجاليات الإسلامية في الدول الغربية أو الدول المعادية للدين الإسلامي كالهند والصين وبورما وغيرها هو الكفيل بطبيعة الحال بالدفاع عن حقوقها ومصالحها وفي منع التمييز العنصري ضدها، ويبدأ ذلك برصد الانتهاكات وتوثيقها والتعريف بها في وسائل الإعلام وغيرها بهدف إيجاد أرضية تعاون مشترك في المجتمع المدني في سائر البلدان لمحاربة مثل هذه الظواهر. وما أحوجنا اليوم إلى تنفيذ خطة عمل مشتركة بيننا في هذا المؤتمر لمساعدة حكوماتنا على اتخاذ تدابير ملموسة نبتغي من خلالها تحقيق التعاون وإقامة استئصال أو محاولة استئصال الفقر ومقاومة الأمراض وسوء التغذية في البلدان الإسلامية الأقل نمو. فتكتلنا في أكثر من مجال سيعزز بلا شك فرص نجاح المسلمين في بناء قدرات ذاتية هائلة في تحقيق التنمية المستدامة وفي تجنب الفجوات التنموية داخل عالمنا الإسلامي الذي يجب أن نتعود النظر إليه على أنه مثل الجسد الواحد إذا اشتكى منه عضو تداعى له سائر الأعضاء بالسهر والحمى. ويتطلب منا مثل هذا الطموح الانتباه إلى كفاية استراتيجياتنا الوطنية المرسومة في التكنولوجيات وتطوير العلوم المعاصرة، الأمر الذي يحتم تحفيز حكوماتنا إلى رفع ميزانياتها المتعلقة بالبحث العلمي. وفي الأخير حتى ترتاحي أيتها المشرفة على هذه الندوة، وفي الأخير أذكر إخوتي المسلمين في مختلف أنحاء الكرة الأرضية بأنه إذا لم نكن متقدمين جدا فعلى الأقل لا يجب أن نكون متخلفين، فليس أقل من أوسط الأحوال الحضارية في أدنى تطلعاتنا، وبهذا سنكون على الأقل وسطاء حتى في الحضارة مثل ما نحن وسطاء في الشهود. قال تعالى: وكذلك جعلناكم أمة وسطا لتكونوا شهداء على الناس ويكون الرسول عليكم شهيدا. أيها الأحباب، أيها الحضور، هذه بعض الملاحظات أبديتها على عجل واختصار وعلى عدم رضا ربما من المشرفة على النشاط، فإنني أكتفي بهذا القدر وأجدد لكم شكري وأجدد لكم دعائي بأن يكون عملكم موفقا، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shukran jazilan. Thank you very much, Professor, for your great notes. It is very great note and very important to us. And I also highlight one thing that you mentioned about using the media and social media to spread the value of Rahmatan Lil Alamin, and also to raising the support from other for the world to spreading the value of Islam, Rahmatan Lil Alamin. Okay, in order due to the constraint time, I'm really sorry because of the limited time. I will directly invite the last speakers, Bapak Dr. Ahmad Suaidi. So yes. He is the Dean of the Faculty of Islam Nusantara, University of Nahdlatul Ulama Indonesia. Mas Ahmad Suaidi, 10 minutes, starting now. The screen is yours.
Thank you, Hijratul Maghfirah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon or good evening, all people here. And I would like, firstly, I would like to respect to all and to committee of this meeting or this event is very important and very good for us to discuss about the reality, not only the what is the conceptual Islam, but also reality uh, in our world. Also, I would like to respect to all the speaker, Mr. Dr. Usman Ahmad, Institute of Islamic Studies, University of Punjab, Lahore, Pakistan, and also Professor Ahmad Najib Burhani from Muhammadiyah, and Professor Muhammad Ruslan Muhammad Nur from University of Malaya, and Professor Dr. Abdul Latif Abu Azizi, Rector of Tuna University, Tunisia. This is opportunity, very good opportunity for me to discuss about our what is our commitment to establish the peaceful of the world. The title of this meeting is Building International Collaboration to Strengthen the Practice of Islam, Rahmatan Lil Alamin. This very important topic, but I think we should take the topic on the reality, the situation of the world right now. So I say that how to implement Islamic Rahmatan Lil Alamin in the world right now has to require or demand equal and fair relation for mankind, not different ethnicity, religion, and so on, and not also not based on the coercion of oppression. We cannot say peaceful when the situation is coercion and violence, for example. Contention, relation, conflict, and violence tend to be a structural problem, actually, not only the, for example, the mind of radicalism, for example, but there is economic problem about gap between the have and the poverty and so on. So the solution have to make a situation value and fairness. Equal human relation will create social harmony. This is, I think, our experience in the world. But right now we face the global changing in not only in the world but also in our nation and our community. One of the important things is about technology and our information technology. We face not only the social media, for example, what called society 5.0 is like the people who part of the technology itself. Right now, 4.0, we still use the technology, but in 5.0, we part of technology itself. So this is very, very hard changing. And also the demographic changing also. For example, there are many migration to the Europe, America, Canada, Australia, and so on. So the discuss about Islam or the Muslim world, not only the Asia, but also I think we should also in Europe, in America, Canada, Australia, and so on. Even in the areas that very main Muslim is very minority, like in what is the east of Europe or the east of the south of America, for example. So because of spreading Muslim, then the Muslim not only the subject of what is the object or subject of the problem, but also responsibility. But we can we should also we have experience in history about Islam, which is the part of the peaceful that in the past Islam have been dominated the world rather than the West. When the West, what is the in the age, the cold age of Islam. According to many literature, that at that time, compared to the Christianity in the West, the characteristic of Islam that more tolerant to other belief rather than Christianity in the Europe. This is the experience. And why this happened? Because of the Islamic methodology like tasawuf, usul fikih, and qaidul fikih. I think we have to learn again, rise again about this knowledge, this methodology, because this methodology was the best of the Muslim history, who very tolerant to other group and other beliefs. Next, we have a difference between Islam and Christianity, but we can collaborate and discuss and so on. And right now we have a new experience. I think the nation state is the newest, what is the actuality of modernity, who that all people challenge this issue, especially the Muslim, because this concept has come from the West. And at the same time, we also face the institutionalized religion, not only in terms of the sultanate, for example, like in the past, but now we face the organization, not only the country like OIC, for example, but we have many organizations like Nahdlatul Ulama, Muhammadiyah, and so on. So this is different kind of organizing of Muslim in the new era. And the other another experience also internal transformation and unfinished prolonged fights against colonialism. We still in many area like in South Philippines, South Thailand, and Rohingya in Myanmar. I think we still see about the struggling for Muslim to colonize, and also aggressivity and discrimination of the West, not West itself, but the system of capitalism and secularism. I think we need to discuss more about that. And I think in the past, when it was colonialism, Western religions tend to be silent against inequality and oppression. So I think we discuss more about that between Islam and other religions, especially the Western religion. Next. I think we have many experience also in the past where it is Islam to be factor of the dialogue and peaceful. Pre-colonial Islamic experience give valuable reference about the respect and equal relation, and especially in Indonesia and Southeast Asia, where I focus on research and learn. And classical Islamic methodology like tasawwuf, like I said, usul fikih and qaidul fikih, provide important model of respect and equality, because all of the ethic experience come from struggling and come from discuss about that. Based on this, postmodern transformation like Islam Nusantara in experience in Indonesia always how to discuss how to Islam can implement and down to earth of the in Indonesia, in many area in Indonesia, different, because Indonesia is very wide, so we can differentiate between in Java, in Kalimantan, in Sumatra, and so on, also in other ones. The local experience of Nusantara that is historically proved to persist to the day. So this experience until now, we the radical group and radical thinking, for example, always confronted by the local belief and local experience of Islam. So we here can discuss about that this phenomena. I think I'm here more see about the problem rather than solution, but I think we can show about the challenge. First is political economy of equality and the global capitalism. I think we have to be concerned when we want to implement Islam Rahmatan Lil Alamin, because we cannot implement this issue on the situation gap and question and so on. Inequality on knowledge and education distribution in every community and nation. We have to try to push to the government and people to more redistribution of economic and knowledge, and also technological equality for new kind of knowledge transformation. For example, how to Islamic methodology can be transfer based on the new technology information like new social media and so on. Natural resource exploitation and its annihilation on local people. So we have, I think we should aware about our people, especially non-Muslim, which is very local tradition and local belief, for example, which is exploited by the.
Mas Waidi, the time is over.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Maghfirah, thank you, and all people here. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mas Suedi. The last you mentioning, you rising up about the challenges, and I think it is a very important and urgent challenge that all now is. We face those kind of challenge, and it is why we need to build the collaboration to address those kind of challenge that Mas Suedi already mentioning. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really sorry for the limited time. So this we already in the question and answer section. We have many questions. Here, there are 7 participants who raising the question. The first question for Gerista Zuhjia Rahmani. Okay, Gerista from the Zakat institution. The question for the Professor Ahmad Najib Burhani. Gerista asking about how about the social organization in there. I think maybe in Indonesia or in Muhammadiyah, I don't know exactly, because the question for Najib Burhani, so the question, but how about social organization in there? And then what the program in there, or maybe here in this context in Muhammadiyah, are the program very useful and very helpful, especially for duafa? That's the first question for Pak Najib Burhani. And then the second question from Muhammad Mursalin, greeting from Maldives. Okay, he's from Maldives. And the question for Dr. Usman Ahmad. I hope Dr. Usman Ahmad still with us. The question is about, could you please elaborate more about CDD? Okay, CDD. I think CDD is the Charter Dissent and Differences. The Professor Usman mentioned about CDD in his presentation. And then the third question from Muhammad, still from Muhammad Mursalin from Maldives. And then the question for Professor Najib Burhani. Pak Najib, what do you think about the ideology of Hizbut Tahrir, and is it suit or fit to the current situation as the extremism is growing? As the extremism is growing very fast in all around the world. Okay. And then the next question from Sharif Hidayatullah. I hope all the speakers noted the question. So after I read all the question, all the speaker, I will please all the speakers to respond or to answer the question. So the next question from Sharif Hidayatullah. This question for all the speakers. Sharif Hidayatullah from Gajah Mada University, Indonesia. He is a student of the university. His question about, is there any MOU or Memorandum of Understanding among all moderate Muslim organizations in Indonesia, also in Malaysia, or in Pakistan and Tunisia? The MOU between Muhammadiyah and NU in Indonesia, and also between Indonesia Muslim and Pakistani and Malaysia Muslim groups, not only in thinking, but also in the real action. Okay. And then the next question from MM. For this question for Professor Muhammad Ruslan from Malaya University. The question is, you recommend that the Islamic world be one voice in looking at the global issues. How to make this happen while the condition of Muslim populated countries have different local and regional situations? Okay, and then the next question, I don't know the name, anonymous participant. The question for Professor Bouazizi, Zaytuna University. What do you mean by submitting to a foreigner? Who do you mean foreign in the context of the cooperation with the Islamic organization? Okay, and then the seventh question from Suraji from the Kusdurian community. The question is about, we found the religious actors in many Muslim countries show elitism in politics and support undemocratic principles and system. Meanwhile, many problems have occurred in people who need support from religious people like Muslim community in China and Myanmar. What do you think about the elitism so that the value of Rahmatan Lil Alamin doesn't become an illusion? Wow. And the last question from Sudirman Mokalalag, Parigi, Indonesia, from Parigi, Indonesia. The question, in the implementation of Islam Rahmatan Lil Alamin, of course, we face many challenges. We work in department or company. What can we do when there are our rights, which should be the time to be completed? Instead, it was postponed. I don't know. Secondly, in terms of worship, it was time to carry out, but because of work, so it was delayed. Third question, when facing problems in the field or in the street, there are weak people who are oppressed. Do we just keep quiet or help to fight back? What is the solution? And okay, what is the solution for those kind of problems that Mr. Sudirman found in the company and in the environment that they live? I think, yeah, that's the questions, and I hope all the speakers still here with us and are responding to the question, and I will invite the first speakers to respond the question. Mas Najib Burhani. Please, Mas Najib, to respond the question.
Thank
you. You have two questions.
Yes, I think two or three, right?
Three.
The first
yes.
one is about the Caliphate, Hizbut Tahrir al-Islami. Like I mentioned during my presentation, that the only feasible option for cooperation right now is horizontal cooperation and collaboration. Why? Because a nation state is the paradigm of our contemporary time, contemporary world, while the Caliphate and Hizbut Tahrir is proposing what we call as a vertical collaboration under a caliph or under one leadership. And this one is not fit with our contemporary time. And then for the second one, about zakat, lazis, duafa, and something like that. Yes, I think there have been several collaboration and cooperation, and also working together in terms of distributing zakat and infak, sodako, and something like that, not only in Indonesia but also in Rohingya, Philippines, Palestine, and also collaboration with the support of zakat in the context of like cooperation in creating peace world, like in Philippines, and also become part of the ECOSOC in creating harmony and also stopping conflict in several countries. So just like NU, I think there were a number of activities in foreign countries using, and also like in Palestine, building hospital there, using the fund from the zakat collected here in Indonesia, and also in Myanmar, of course. And then the third one, I think, related to MOU. Usually the MOU between countries is between G2G, government to government. It means that the ministries of the president will do that. But also there are a number of P2P collaboration, such as I give an example, like a collaboration between NU, Muhammadiyah, and British Council a few years ago, related to what you call it, like promoting Islam, Indonesian Islam, and something like that, and also with the US, and of course some universities in Indonesia that have perhaps collaboration with some universities in the Middle East and also in Europe and United States. One last thing that I need to stress here, to underline here, that something that have been missing from IOC's work is collaboration in scientific invention and innovation among Muslim countries and Muslim people. And this is actually the one that located beyond the conflict of interest and beyond the conflict of countries that we need to take right now. Thank you very much, Mbak Mahwira.
Thank you, Mas Najib. And then the next speakers, Pak Muhammad Mursalin. Sorry, no, I meant the questioning. Dr. Usman, are you still with us? Dr. Usman? Mr. Mursalin asking about the CDD, Charter of dissent and difference, something like that you mentioning in the presentation. Okay, so while we are waiting the Dr. Usman Ahmad to respond the question, we pass to another speakers, Professor Ahmad, Professor Muhammad Ruslan Muhammad Nur, to respond. I think 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one is on the cooperation, how to build the cooperation, and then the second one, could you remind me, please?
Is there any memorandum of understanding in the Malaysia, maybe from the one organization to other organization, or Malaysia with Indonesian organization, something like that?
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
First, how to build this cooperation. I think we have to look into this. We are not actually the one who created the linkage between the organization. The linkage the linkage is already exist. So we need to rebuild on this matter. Malaysia, Indonesia, Pakistan, and I mean some other Muslim countries in the Middle East, in Tunisia, in Algeria, we have people who work with them, and then we have network in this matter. We know that Malaysian organization, the non-governmental organization, or the mass organization, organisasi ormas, ya. Kalau di Indonesia, if we will look to Indonesia, they have 2 main biggest Muslim organization, that is Muhammadiyah and also the Nahdlatul Ulama. Sometimes the people of Nahdlatul Ulama doesn't like if we mention Muhammadiyah first. They do like to mention Nahdlatul Ulama first and then Muhammadiyah. Whatever it is, we have 2 big organization in Indonesia who always work closely with the Malaysian organization. I have the experience. I work with some of the NGOs in Malaysia. We work together in many aspects and in many issues that we work together among Malaysian and also Indonesian community. Perhaps we can enhance this to other Muslim countries, that we can invite people from Pakistan, and we can invite people from other Middle East countries to look into this. In Malaysia also, we have organization, a different organization. Some of them, they don't work with each other. They don't see eyes to eyes. Some of them, they work very closely. There are many reasons why they work closely and why they do not work with other organizations. We do not want to touch into some of the sensitivities among the Muslim communities on this matter. But what we have to do is to agree on one thing that we can agree upon. Say, like, for instance, we have some issues that we need to protect and we need to support, and we try to get as much as support that we can from other organizations from all over the world. The main issues that I can see myself, which we receive a huge support from organizations all over the world, is the issue of Palestine. This is unfortunate for Palestinian people, that they have to fight in their land to be recognized since 1948, when the establishment of the State of Israel happened. They kind of have a having a bad treatment from the Israeli government to them. So they have to make sure that they can fight to make sure that they do not lose their land. So this is something that we look into. And last year in 2021, during Ramadan, at the end of Ramadan, I think many of us remember when the Israel bomb Gaza, and also they make something in Sheikh Jarrah village in Baitul Maqdis. So it has sparked a huge response from Japan, from Indonesia, from Malaysia, as well as from other countries, from Pakistan, from Tunisia. We know about this. And I think for us to move forward is to look into one common issue that we can agree, and we work on that matter. So how to start? I think we have to find ways, and there are always many ways how to start this. And then it's not only at the higher level, we can start also at the each level. I mean, from sometimes students of the university, they can work with students from other countries, lecturers who work in other countries. They can work with lecturers or academics from other countries. So this is something that we can form together. It's not a big issue in this. We just need to have a common issues on how we can work on it. So that is the first one. The second one, in Malaysia, we have what we call it the coalition between organizations. We have several coalitions to invite the NGOs that we have in Malaysia to work together. One of them which I get involved is the coalition who look into the new converts, the association of the new converts that we are working with. So we have around 20 organizations who come together to form under one umbrella. And then we focus on the issue of da'wah. We focus on the issue of spreading Islam, on the issue of propagation, spreading Islam, give the true understanding of Islam to the people who like to know about Islam. So this is, I think, although Malaysia and Indonesia, we are majority Muslim countries, but then we still have a quite big number of non-Muslim in our region. Of course, in Malaysia, then the percentage is much more bigger compared to Indonesia. In Malaysia, we have non-Muslims about nearly 40%. Yeah, 40% of Malaysian population are non-Muslims. In
Okay,
Indonesia,
thank you.
perhaps only 10% or 15% are non-Muslims. So you are very lucky because the gap is very huge, and the majority are Muslims, so they can work strong in this matter. But this is the challenge that we have. The challenge that we have to make sure that the non-Muslim community, they understand Islam. So this is the approach that we have to take when we speak to the non-Muslim, to make sure the approach is correct.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ruslan.
Yeah.
The time is over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Finished. Okay, thank you very much for the response. And then the next response for Mas Suaidi, Professor Suaidi, you have also two questions. From the first question about elitism in religious actors, and also about the collaboration between
Sorry.
elitism in the religious actors.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about this elitism, so that the value of Rahmatan Lil Alamin doesn't become an illusion, because there are many elitism in religious actors? And then the second question about the collaboration among Muslim or Islamic organization, the experiences. Yeah.
I'm come from
Please,
the
2 minutes.
Yes, I'm start from the second question. I think we should collaborate not only based on the government, but also in non-governmental organization, and even I think we should move forward professional association. I think not only organization. Organization is like the group based on the identity, Islamic identity, but we need more than identity, but more, for example, knowledge, science, and also philosophy and social knowledge, for example. So we collaboration not only based on organization, but also in knowledge and professional. And the first, I think this is the phenomena in all of the world, not only in Islam, but also in other religion also. But I think we have experience in Indonesia, for example, the strata of the leadership of Islam until the very very below people, yeah, very base, like in the faith and so on. This is very important. So the elite is not, it means that gap between the ulama and the people, but the ulama is part of the people itself. My experience in Nahdlatul Ulama, for example, in Indonesia, the leadership of ulama is not only in the level of district and province and national, but based on the very local community. We call RT RW. We have even in Nahdlatul Ulama we have what we call Basul Masail based on RT RW community. So this is like intellectual Islamic intellectual experiment to respond the phenomena of people, not only in national level but also in the local level. For example, COVID-19 is the example, a very good example about how the people and the elite people in the ground more receive feeble by people rather than the ulama in national level about how to respond, how to cover from the pandemic of COVID-19. And also COVID-19 support the people and the ulama collaborate with the other religion, not only Islamic religion, for example. So the elite very important, but not should not kept by the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mas Suaidi. And then the last question, I think Mr. Dr. Usman Ahmad already with us now. If you are here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so there is one question from Muhammad Mursalin from Maldives. The question is about, could you please elaborate more about CDD? So 1 minute, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the question, and I have the opportunity to elaborate. The Charter of Dissent and Disapproval is that there will be the lines of differences mentioned in the charter, so that the problem is not in the integration, the unity. The problem is the dissent. When we allow every person, this is the boundary. You can disagree. You can show your dissent already in the charter and in the rules. Then there is no problem if someone is disapproving, disagreeing something. This is in the charter and in the rules, so he is allowed to do. Otherwise, if someone is disagreeing in any issue, this come a problem. If it is in the rules, it means it is according to the rules. So no problem if some organization is disagreeing in about anything. However, the disagreeing is not in the lines of beliefs and prophethood and tawheed. It is about the furu'at, that is you can say about the teachings other than the beliefs. And the geographical differences will be absorbed, the fiqh differences will be absorbed, the other things all will be absorbed by this charter.
Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much, Professor, for your response. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you for still with us. And we are now in the end of the section. So we would like to invite all the speakers to give a closing statement. I think I will start from the Mr. Najib Burhani to give the closing statement.
Yeah, I think there are potential of collaboration that we need to dig from ourselves, from our countries, and also from our organization, that we need to start it as soon as possible, like collaboration in the context of what I call, if previously between countries and between perhaps people, now between Muslim organization, they need to not to delay the beginning of more stronger collaboration, and particularly the one that I said missing is in scientific and innovation activities. I think that's all, Mbak Malkwira, from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mas. Your highlight is very important. And then the next closing statement, please, Professor Muhammad Ruslan Muhammad Nur.
Okay, I think we need to work together in terms of explaining the bir and by using the concept of taqwa, wa ta'awanu 'alal birri wa taqwa. This is the concept of when we would like to work together. So when we hold the spirit of the Holy Quran, inshallah everything we have the standard of how to proceed and how to make sure that our collaboration in the future is in the name of God. So thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much. So the next speaker for giving the closing statement, please, Professor Dr. Abdul Latif Bouzizi. Are you still here with us? Okay, if not, I would like to invite Dr. Usman Ahmad. Dr. Usman Ahmad, are you still with us? Okay, thank you. Then I will invite Pak Ahmad Suaidi to give a closing statement.
Yeah, I agree with Professor Najib. I think we should next action, not only discuss, but also action. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mas Suaidi, and thank you very much to all speakers, and then to all participants who are still with us. And it is a very important discussion, and then our topic is about the collaboration. So the important thing of the collaboration is the action. And I think the collaboration among youth Muslim organization also very important, because none of the speakers talking about the youth issues and then the youth action. And actually, the youth is really important to involve, to be part of the ambassador of Islam, Rahmatan Lil Alamin. So thank you very much. I will not give any conclusion. Instead, provide some notes that could be our together job in the future. So first, apart from discussing, we must also become ambassador of moderate Islam for a global world. That's why we should invite all as much as possible the Muslim, like the youth Muslim, to become ambassador of moderate Islam. And also the unity of Muslim is still a question. How does this commitment to Islamic unity intersect with the regional issues of each country? And finally, the agreement on making the cooperation must be followed up. And thank you very much for the speakers, and invite to organize this very important discussion. And I'm Hijratul Maghfirah. Sorry if I'm mistaken in delivering, in moderating the discussion. So the participant, I think you should keep with us, because after this session, we will have the closing ceremony that we will have Ambassador of Tunisia for Ambassador of Indonesia to Tunisia, Mr. Ahmad Suhairi. So I will give I will pass this program to the committee and thank you very much from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih, Mbak.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Syukran.
Jazakallah.
As a religion of peace, Islam fundamentally emphasizes companionship, tenderness, and tolerance. The most majority of Muslims know that Islam means a blessing for the universe, or Rahmatan Lil Alamin. The implementation of peaceful Islam is nurtured as wider as possible for many Muslims across the globe. The concept of Rahmatan Lil Alamin, or the blessing for the universe, is prior to be fostered in various Muslim majority countries. The ulama and umaro continuously promote Islamic ideas and practices which contain the value of tolerance, peace, coexist with the principle of human rights hand in hand with local culture for every dawah, and compatible with democracy. Consistent in disseminating and practicing tender and charming Islam plays key role in maintaining Islam religion of peace. To provide a dynamic and fruitful discussion, INFIT, as the initiator, collaborate with Nahdlatul Ulama and Muhammadiyah, inviting various Islamic organizations in Pakistan, Malaysia, and Tunisia to join together. The discussion aims to share experiences and efforts that have made by the four countries in strengthening the understanding and practice of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. By having this international seminar, it is expected that the idea of tolerant and peaceful Islam in Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan, and Tunisia would become notable and influential image for global society. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the international seminar, Building International Cooperation to Reinforce Commitments and Practices of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'inu ala umuri dunya waddin wa salatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Ladies and gentlemen, how time flies, and we have come to the final day of the online international seminar with the topic Building International Cooperation to Reinforce Commitments and Practices of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. Regardless, it is definitely not the end of our commitments to always diffuse and reflect the face of peaceful and tolerant Islam as Islam Rahmatan Lil Alamin. As we already know that this event is also attended by colleagues from ministries, embassies, CSOs, and media and general participants from various community institutions around the world. Before we proceed to our ultimate session, please allow me, Sururah Uthman, the host of this session, to extend our warmest thanks to you all distinguished speakers and participants who have joined us since day one, and for actively participating in the plenary and parallel session, and even have stayed until very moment. Without further ado, as part of our agenda, as part of the powerful outcome of this third day seminar, I would like to invite Mr. Abdul Wahid, the Senior Program Officer on Human Rights and Democracy of INFIT, to read out loud the recommendation and declaration on the commitments to reinforce the practices of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. Mr. Abdul Wahid, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much for Ms. Ruru. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wa bihi nasta'inu ala umuri dunya waddin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Ladies and gentlemen, all participants of the seminar, Alhamdulillah, the seminar has been completed. We have finished the seminar. We have gone through the opening session, 5 discussion session, and now we are entering the closing session. In this closing session, we start by presenting the result and recommendation of this international seminar. After that, there will be speech from the Indonesian Ambassador to Tunisia, His Excellency Zuhairi Misrawi. Ladies and gentlemen, in the opening, we receive a keynote speech from the Vice President of the Republic of Indonesia, Professor Dr. Kiai Haji Ma'ruf Amin, and remarks from the Minister of Religion, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Chairman of BNU, and Chairman of PP Muhammadiyah. There were many speakers who have attended our discussion from among Islamic religious organizations and university in Indonesia, NOM Muhammadiyah, and from Pakistan, Tunisia, and Malaysia. Indonesian ambassador in Tunisia, Pakistan, and Malaysia were also present. Ladies and gentlemen, this document that I would like to read as a result and recommendation of this international consists of 3 parts: introduction, seminar result, and then recommendation. The introduction section convey general information about the international seminar, and the result of the seminar will convey the idea presented by the speakers. Recommendation are follow-up proposal after this international seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to read the result of the international seminar. In this seminar, there are several essential ideas that the speakers have conveyed and discussed with the participants, including the first one is, Islam is a religion that promotes love and peace. Islam upholds humanity and is compatible with democracy. Islamic organizations in Indonesia, such as NU and Muhammadiyah, provide firm commitment, attitude, and action to spread Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin, which is close to humanitarian principle and democratic value. Pakistan, Tunisia, and Malaysia also confirm a Muslim relevant position and support the supportive relationship between Islam, human rights, and democracy. The second, women play a critical role in expanding the commitment and implementation of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. The role and involvement of women in Indonesia, Pakistan, Tunisia, and Malaysia are considered very strategic in building the country and achieving several SDGs and indicators, sustainable development goals and indicators, such as education and health. In Islamic history, women have always played an essential role in da'wah activity. Women have also become an important symbol in fighting against violent ideology at micro and macro level. However, the struggle to build a gender-friendly society remains unfinished in Asian and African countries, including Indonesia, Pakistan, Tunisia, and Malaysia. Many problems afflict women, such as child marriage, periodisticum, and limited access to civil rights. Third, Islamic media must be actively involved in strengthening the narrative of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. Islam and Muslims worldwide have been blamed for the chaos perpetrated by extremist groups. Furthermore, the media has more influence on us than school, teacher, and the surrounding environment nowadays. Therefore, Islamic media hold a crucial role in strengthening the discourse on humanity and peace. Islamic media should promote at least 6 characteristics: tolerant, universal, and inclusive, communicative, creative, critical, and solutive. The fourth, the da'wah of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin must be carried out inclusively by respecting local cultures. Universal value of Islam should have collaborated with local tradition and culture. In consequence, Islam will transform into a more empirical and peaceful religion. Islamic da'wah should have minimized the potential conflict with local cultures. According to the Da'wah Reality Indonesia, NON Muhammadiyah, preaching inclusively and appreciatively toward culture has encouraged the diverse community to accept Islam along with its local value. Fifth, expanding the commitment and practice of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin require proper strategy that every Islamic country and citizen should take in everyday life and every collaborative work between Islamic countries. It requires strong support from the state and diplomacy between Islamic countries. Elements of Islamic organization, campus, and other Islamic civil society organizations should collaboratively demonstrate the concept, commitment, and practice of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin and reject all violence perpetrated in the name of religion. Sixth, Nahdlatul Ulama and Muhammadiyah, the 2 most influential mass organizations in Indonesia, supported by religious-based organizations and universities in Pakistan, Tunisia, and Malaysia, are committed and continue to encourage the concrete practice of supporting Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. The 2 leaders of 2 civil society organizations, NON Muhammadiyah, emphasize that Islam is a religion of love and mercy, Rahmah. Rahmah or mercy is key term with a broad dimension, not limited to only Muslim but also non-Muslim. NON Muhammadiyah also have similar view regarding democracy. These 2 organizations fundamentally accepted the nation state and recognized equally for all citizens. Seventh, Indonesia show a strong belief and commitment to Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. The state's effort on this matter are realized by mainstreaming religious moderation as proclaimed by the Indonesian Ministry of Religious Affairs. Religious moderation has at least 4 value traits: non-violence, tolerance, nationality, and accommodativeness to local culture. At the international level, Indonesia partnered with 34 countries in conducting interfaith dialogue. Indonesia countries to hold various international conferences with the leaders of the Islamic world to revitalize the principle of moderate Islam or wasatiyah in the midst of global challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, and then I would like to read the recommendation of the seminar. In this seminar, several recommendations are encouraged to be realized. The first, inviting all elements of society, including Islamic organizations, to utilize their resources and influence to strengthen and mainstream moderate teachings that uphold humanity, tolerance, non-violence, nationality, and local culture. Number 2, strengthening the relationship or silaturahim between Islamic religious organizations in various Islamic countries. As part of effort to continuously convey the concept of strengthened commitment to and encourage the implementation of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin, which uphold human value, support peace, promote tolerance, respect diversity, and comply with democracy. The third, involvement of Muslim women or Muslimah in all public sectors and state governance in the executive, legislative, and judicial institution, especially in the context of realizing the fulfillment of women's rights. Fourth, inviting all components of society to work together to build a fair and gender-friendly, just, and anti-discriminatory life. Fifth, encourage Islamic media to optimally, creatively, Islamic. The sixth, calling on countries, including Muslim-based ones, to fight for and apply democratic value as the main thing in the life of an independent and egalitarian nation and state. Also, to actively cooperate with other Muslim countries to consolidate, to encourage the commitment and implement of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin to wider Muslim countries in the world. And the last, calling governments in Muslim countries to cooperate with civil society to promote that life that puts forward the principle of Islam as Rahmatan Lil Alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, there was document that convey about the result of our international seminar and the recommendation that we have to encourage our civil society and others. Thanks so much. Allahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thariq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now, please give a big round of applause for Mr. Abdul Wahid. Thank you very much for the pivotal declaration, and we hope it won't be just a piece of paper, of course, but it will be internalized as a value that each and every one of us uphold in Allah. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please now allow me to invite His Excellency Zuhairi Misrawi, the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to Tunisia, to deliver his warm closing remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saada Safir Jumhuriyah Indonesia di Pakistan, Saada Safir Jumhuriyah Indonesia di Malaysia, أيها الأساتذة المفكرون والمثقفون الحضور المبارك. السلام عليكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا حبيبنا وشفيعنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين وصحبه المنتجبين والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. في أول وهلة أقدم الشكر والتقدير على انعقاد هذا البرنامج القيم من أجل بناء التعاون العالمي لتقوية الأفكار والأعمال في نشر راية الإسلام رحمة للعالمين. أيها الحضور، نحن حاليا ما زلنا نعيش في عصر الصراع والحرب، سواء كان صراعا مذهبيا أم حربا سياسية، فكل فئة بل دولة لها في أزمة إنسانية مخيفة للغاية. فالسؤال المقترح والمطروح أمامنا: ما الحل للخروج من هذه الأزمة المزمنة؟ نحن نؤمن أن الله إلهنا وربنا الواحد الأحد الصمد، وأن محمدا نبينا ورسولنا، والقرآن كتابنا والكعبة قبلتنا ولكن لماذا تفرقنا واقترفنا بل تسارعنا وتحاربنا وتناسينا أننا أمة واحدة كإخوة بل كإنسان الذي خلقه الله خليفة في الأرض كما قال الإمام ابن علي في نهج البلاغة الناس صنفان إما أخ لك في الدين أم نذير لك في الخلق. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم المؤمن للمؤمن كالبنيان يشد بعضه بعضا. وقال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم. وبالتالي نحن في أمس الحاجة إلى فكرة جديدة بل إعادة بناء فكرة جديدة من أجل بناء التعاون العالمي بين الدول المسلمين لتقوية الأفكار والأعمال في نشر فكرة الإسلام رحمة للعالمين. إندونيسيا كدولة معظم سكانها مسلمون لها تاريخ وحضارة عريقة في ترسيخ القيم الإنسانية. جاء الإسلام إلى إندونيسيا بوسيلة الدعوة بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة ببركة الأولياء التسعة منذ القرون السالفة. لقد طبقنا الإسلام كرحمة للتقاليد والعادات القائمة لدى مجتمع جاوا بل نسنترا أجمع. نحن نعيش في جو التنوع الثقافي والعرقي والقبلي، وبالتالي أعرب سوكارنو في خطابه الشهير أول يولي عام 1945 إن الإيمان بالله هو الإيمان الذي ينشئ التسامح والتعايش بيننا لا للأنانية والتعصب. والحمد لله بفضله وقدره نحن نعيش في أمان وسلام عبر القرون، ونحن فخور بالتاريخ وحاضرنا الراهن كأكبر دولة وسطية إسلامية في العالم الإسلامي. فجمعية نهضة العلماء وجمعية محمدية هما عمادان قويان للوسطية الإسلامية في إندونيسيا. أيها الحضور، فجمعية نهضة العلماء عبارة عن جمعية تقوم على مسار السنة والجماعة ذات طابع إندونيسي. هم يحمون التقاليد والعادات والثقافات الراسخة من القرون الماضية، وكذلك يرسخون التعايش السلمي والتسامح مع الأديان والاعتقادات الأخرى. والجمعية أيضا تهتم بالمفاهيم والتطورات الحديثة مثل الديمقراطية وحقوق الإنسان والتعددية ومكانة المرأة في المجتمع. وبالتالي لنا شعار مشهور في جمعية نهضة العلماء: المحافظة على القديم الصالح والأخذ بالجديد الأصلح. وأما جمعية محمدية عبارة عن جمعية اجتماعية تهتم بشؤون المستضعفين والفقراء والمساكين، ولهم تطلعات دينية تقدمية حتى يهتم المسلمون بالمتغيرات الحديثة، ولهم شعار مشهور والعودة إلى القرآن والسنة من أجل ترسيخ الإسلام رحمة للعالمين. ولكن الأهم الذي ينبغي أن أشير إليكم الحضور أنهما يعني جمعية نهضة العلماء والمحمدية تهتم كثيرا بتقوية الروح الوطنية، لأنهما يؤمنان أن حب الوطن من الإيمان. وبالتالي في السنوات الأولى بعد الاستقلال إندونيسيا هما من الأعمدة المهمة لترسيخ الأصول الخمسة لدولة إندونيسيا أي بانشاسيلا، وهي التوحيد أو الإيمان بالله، الإنسانية، الوحدة الوطنية، الشورى وحكمة الشعب، والعدالة الاجتماعية. هذه الأصول الخمسة البانشاسيلا عند جمعية محمدية هي دار الأحد والشهادة للشعب، وعند جمعية نهضة العلماء هي ميثاق وليد حتى نتوحد من أجل خدمة الأمة والوطن والإنسانية. وبالتالي نحن فخور دائما نشكر الله عز وجل على دور جمعية نهضة العلماء والمحمدية عبر التاريخ. فإندونيسيا حاليا أصبح دولة ديمقراطية تقود المجمعات دولة 20 في العالم أو كما نعرف G20. أيها الحضور، وفي المستقبل أرجو أن يقود إندونيسيا التعاون العالمي المشترك لتوطيد الأفكار والأعمال في نشر الوسطية الإسلامية في العالم الإسلامي خاصة وفي العالم عامة. فهذا المنتدى الذي انعقده إنفيد بمثابة نقطة الانطلاق للعمل الأكبر والأوسع. فالعالم في حاجة إلى الأفكار والأعمال البناءة، وبالتالي في هذه الفرصة أقدم لكم فكرة ثلاثية الأخوة لكياي الحاج أحمد صديق، وهي الأخوة الإسلامية والأخوة الوطنية والأخوة الإنسانية. نحن كمسلمين ينبغي علينا أن نقوي الأخوة بيننا، خاصة الأخوة بين المسلمين، وكشعب في وطن ودولة يجب علينا أن نتآخى. وكذلك الأخوة الإنسانية هي الحل الوحيد للصراع السياسي، وإلا سوف نتحارب ونتصارع بيننا. فالدعوة إلى الأخوة الإسلامية والأخوة الوطنية والأخوة الإنسانية هي الحل الوحيد الذي يمكن أن أطروها ونعمل بها في الأيام المقبلة بالتعاون مع ماليزيا وباكستان وتونس. وأنا كسفير إندونيسيا بجمهورية تونس سأعمل بكل جدية على التعاون المشترك مع جمهورية تونس لتوطيد الأفكار والأعمال في نشر رؤية الإسلام رحمة للعالمين، ونشر الدعوة لتقوية الأخوة الإسلامية والأخوة الوطنية والأخوة الإنسانية. Ladies and gentlemen, witnessing world full of conflict, war, and uncertainty, we should not lose hope and optimism. We must continue to strive with all our effort to bring about peace and humanity. Our duty as Muslims is to ensure that Islam truly become religion which enlighten human civilization, unity, and brotherhood. Indonesia brings strong message to the world that it is time for us to create true and meaningful Islamic unity, national unity, and human unity. We must hold hands together and have faith that nothing is impossible under the sky and on earth. The experiences of Nahdlatul Ulama and Muhammadiyah have proven that Islam is capable of building democracy, human rights, civil society, and social justice in Indonesia. Together with other countries, Tunisia, Pakistan, Malaysia, and many other countries, the voices of Islam, Rahmatan Lil Alamin, will be spread widely. Finally, that we have done this past 3 days is the first step to build a just and peaceful civilization. We must contribute our best to the world, and Indonesia plays a significant role in bringing about world peace. On behalf of the government and as the Indonesian ambassador to Tunisia, I would like to thank INFIT, who has carried out this activity. Initiative from civil society will always, in a way, provide inspiration to the government, and the engagement of the communities is pivotal in building the nation and world civilization. Terakhir, saya sengaja 3 bahasa karena selalu ditanya apakah orang Indonesia bisa berbahasa Arab. Maka saya mulai dengan bahasa Arab, lalu bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia. Saya melihat banyak sekali teman-teman yang ada di sini, Prof. Najib, Mas Waid. Selamat bagi FIT, ini menjadi sesuatu yang sangat baik sekali. Bagaimana Indonesia berperan di dunia internasional, maka sebagai Duta Besar Republik Indonesia untuk Tunisia sangat mendukung program dari FIT dan sangat berterima kasih banyak, karena bagaimanapun di tengah suasana G20 ini, kita bisa memberikan sumbangsih kepada dunia. Seperti yang saya katakan tadi, bahwa saya akan menggunakan Islam Indonesia sebagai instrumen infrastruktur diplomasi saya di Tunisia. Saya akan menjelaskan Islam Rahmatan Lil Alamin dalam 3 kacamata, yaitu ukhuwah Islamiyah, ukhuwah Wataniyah, dan ukhuwah Basyariyah Insaniyah. Sekali lagi terima kasih sebanyak-banyaknya. Mudah-mudahan kita semua diberi kesehatan. Wa ma taufiqi illa billah, alaihi tawakkaltu wa ila unib. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Syukron lakum ya al-mukarram Tuhair Mistawi. Thank you very much, His Excellency, for the warm remarks. Distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the seminar. Regardless, it is definitely not the end of our commitment to always diffuse and reflect the face of peaceful and tolerant Islam. Islam, Rahmatan Lil Alamin. Please visit www.infit.org for more news and information regarding the issue of peaceful and tolerant Islam. On behalf of the committee, please allow me to extend our sincere thank you to all participants from across the globe who have joined the seminar. Thank you to distinguished speakers, delegates, and thank you to our media partner, NU Online, IB Times ID, Arahim, and Islamic.co, etc. Finally, I will close the seminar with sincere hope. May each of us always be the active actor to spread the message of peaceful and tolerant Islam as Islam Rahmatan Lil Alamin. My name is Luru. I'm signing out. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you and see you around. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.